My precious, beautiful 80-year-old daughter, I see you. I see you sitting there in the quiet stillness of your living room. The clock ticks rhythmically on the wall, marking time in a house that used to be filled with the loud, joyful chaos of a growing family. Now the silence often feels heavy, doesn't it? You catch yourself looking at the phone, wondering when it will finally ring. You glance at the front door, hoping for a familiar knock, a surprise visit, a voice calling out your name. And when the hours pass and those visits do not come, a cold ache settles in the center of your chest. You feel abandoned. You feel entirely forgotten by the very people you gave your life to. You wonder if your legacy is merely a collection of faded photographs. I am here right now, sitting beside you, to tell you that you are profoundly seen, known, and cherished beyond all worldly measure. If this message brought peace to your heart, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so we can walk together every day. I know the turbulent thoughts that keep you awake at night. You replay decades of memories, picking apart your choices as a mother. You ask yourself if you work too much or not enough. You wonder if you love them correctly, or if this agonizing silence from your family is somehow a delayed punishment for past mistakes. My dear, weary child, let me gently lift that crushing burden of guilt from your shoulders. You did the absolute best you could with the tools and wisdom you possessed at the time. You poured out your youth and your heart to build a solid foundation for them. I kept a record of every tear you shed for them, every warm meal you prepared, and every silent prayer you whispered over their sleeping bodies. None of your sacrifice was wasted. None of it is forgotten in my kingdom. Today, I am giving you a gentle instruction specifically tailored for this twilight season of your life. If they have forgotten you, close the door. I do not mean for you to lock your heart away in bitterness or anger. I mean close the door to the painful waiting. Close the door to the anxiety that relentlessly gnaws at your peace. Close the door to the paralyzing fear of the nursing home, the stressful worry about the inheritance, and the dread of being left alone. When you consciously close that physical door to the exhausting demands and disappointments of the outside world, you open the spiritual door to me. I want you to make your home a sacred sanctuary of our communion. The world constantly tells you that your value diminishes with your age, that at 80 years old, your usefulness has passed. But in my eyes, your spirit is just now ripening into a magnificent masterpiece of grace. I want to spend this unhurried time with you. I want to listen to your stories, the ones no one else seems to have the patience for anymore. I want to soothe the physical aches in your joints and the profound weariness in your soul. Remember the steadfast promise I made to you in Psalm 4. Know that the Lord has set apart his faithful servant for himself. The Lord hears when I call to him. I have intentionally set you apart for this intimate season. When you call to me, I hear you instantly. So close the door, my daughter. Stop standing anxiously by the window. Find your most comfortable chair, light a warm candle, open my word, and just sit with me. Rest in the profound truth that your worth is not defined by how many visitors you receive. Your worth was settled forever on the cross. Allow my presence to fill these empty rooms until they echo with heavenly peace. My beautiful 80-year-old daughter, let us sit together and look back for a moment, not with regret or sorrow, but with the gentle, illuminating clarity of my grace. You often sit in your quiet room and wonder where the time went. It feels like only yesterday you were holding your own children in your arms, kissing bruised knees, drying their tears, and quietly worrying about how to stretch the weekly budget to make ends meet. The decades slipped through your fingers like water, didn't they? Life happened with such breathtaking, unforgiving speed. In the endless rush of it all, in the desperate daily attempt to provide, to protect, and to build a good life for your family, a heavy weight began to settle deeply upon your shoulders. It is the anatomy of a burden you were never meant to carry alone. Without even realizing it, as the years marched on, you began to build walls. When you were deeply hurt by a careless, ungrateful word from a child you sacrificed absolutely everything for, a cold brick was laid. When a terrifying season of profound financial worry or marital strife threatened to break your spirit, another brick went up to shield your fragile heart. The world demanded so much of your energy, your youth, and your peace. You spent your middle years running, striving, and fixing everyone else's problems. You became the strong one, the unwavering anchor for your entire family. But in being the anchor for them, you slowly lost the gentle, sustaining rhythm of resting in me. The endless worries of this world, how to pay the mortgage, how to guide a rebellious teenager, how to save for a future you could not clearly see, slowly stole the quiet, joyful peace I always intended for you to possess. Now, at 80 years old, the house is completely quiet, but your mind is still running that exact same exhausting race. You carry the agonizing weight of their adult choices. You worry endlessly about your grandchildren's futures, your children's troubled marriages, and the modest inheritance you will leave behind. You fret in the middle of the night about the rising cost of assisted living, your declining health, and the terrifying dread of becoming a burden to the very children who no longer call. My precious, beloved child, you are carrying heavy bags packed for a journey you are not meant to take. You are trying to manage tomorrow's unknown sorrows with today's fading physical strength. I want to show you the reality of where we so often lose ourselves. We lose ourselves when we mistakenly believe that our inherent value is tied directly to our usefulness to others. We lose ourselves when we think we can somehow control the paths our adult children take. If they have forgotten you, if they are consumed by their own fast-paced lives and are not knocking on your door today, I desperately need you to release them completely into my capable hands. You cannot force them to remember, but you can choose exactly how you spend this magnificent, quiet time you have been given. My lovingly anchored solution for you today is the beautiful art of surrender. I want you to mentally gather up every ungrateful word ever spoken to you, every missed birthday, every anxious thought about your physical health, and every lingering fear about the end of your earthly life. Gather them all up and place them squarely at my feet. You have spent so many years gripping the steering wheel of your family's life, terrified that if you let go, everything would instantly crash. But look at your hands, my daughter. They are tired. They are beautifully weathered from a lifetime of selfless service. It is finally time to let go. When you lay your head on your pillow tonight, I want you to remember another beautiful promise from Psalm 4. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. You do not need the validation of a busy, noisy house to be safe. You do not need the world's fleeting attention to be significant. Let the heavy walls you built for protection gently crumble to the ground, because I am your ultimate fortress now. In this quiet season, I am restoring the pieces of your heart that were broken by the very people you loved the most. Breathe out the heavy burdens of the past 80 years, my child, and breathe in my restorative, everlasting peace. My precious 80-year-old daughter, we have looked deeply at your beautiful, aching heart, and we have named the exhausting burdens you have carried for far too long. Now, I want to show you the miraculous, transformative turn of my grace. The world constantly whispers that your time is running out, that the final chapters of your life are permanently written in stone, and that it is simply too late for anything to change. It tells you to resign yourself to the quiet loneliness of a forgotten mother. But my grace does not operate on an earthly clock. The time you have remaining on this earth is more than enough for complete redemption, profound internal healing, and perfect, unshakable peace. You do not need to fix your family's complicated history before you can experience joy. I am the ultimate author of restoration, and I am gently rewriting your story right now in the quiet stillness of your living room. I told you earlier to close the physical door to the agonizing waiting, the crippling anxiety, and the paralyzing fear. Now, I will tell you exactly what you must do behind that closed door. I want you to intentionally and completely release your children and your grandchildren into my capable hands. Stop trying to orchestrate their return. Stop sending the hopeful messages that go painfully unanswered, and gently cease making the phone calls that end in brief, hurried dismissals. When you release them from your longing grasp, you are not giving up on them. You are powerfully handing them over to the only one who can reach their souls. Do this one thing. Sit daily in my presence, and let me fill your emotional cup until it overflows. Immerse yourself in my love so deeply that you no longer need their constant validation to feel secure. When you stop nervously chasing their affection and start resting completely in mine, a profound spiritual shift happens. The heavy desperation that used to hang in the air around you will vanish, replaced by a radiant, magnetic peace. And here is the beautiful mystery of my grace. When you finally let go, when you become entirely satisfied and anchored in my love, the spiritual atmosphere of your family changes. They will inexplicably feel the shift. They will sense that the heavy, unspoken weight of your expectation has been graciously lifted. When you close the door to the panic of being forgotten and open your heart entirely to me, you become a breathtaking beacon of quiet strength. And tomorrow, or in the perfect season I have ordained, they will be the ones knocking on your door. They will come looking not for the anxious mother they took for granted, but for the wise, tranquil woman who has found the secret to true, abiding peace. They will be irresistibly drawn to the pure light that I am shining through you. Let the terrifying worry about inheritances, dwindling bank accounts, and assisted living facilities melt away. I have prepared a safe place for you, both in this temporary life and in the eternal one to come. Remember the timeless words of Psalm 4. Offer the sacrifices of the righteous and trust in the Lord. Your greatest sacrifice today is simply handing over your need for control and choosing to trust me with your whole heart. You are deeply cherished and perfectly safe in my arms. My beloved daughter, you absolutely do not have to walk this twilight journey alone. I am intimately with you, holding your weathered hand and gently guiding your steps. If you are finally ready to let go of the heavy bags you have been carrying for 8 decades, I warmly invite you to leave your burden in the comments below. Type, "I receive your peace, Lord," as a powerful declaration of your absolute surrender. And please, subscribe to this channel so we can continue to walk together, side by side, every single day. I love you with an everlasting love.